friends, I'm Liz.
I'm Robby. Welcome back to our channel, Bookworm Couple. Today we're just going to be talking a little bit about our feelings on the entirety of Season 1 of the Percy Jackson and the Olympians TV show on Disney Plus now that it has concluded and been renewed for a second season.
Yay!
Which, no matter what, I think that if you are a fan of the Percy Jackson books, you should be really excited for that. I am thrilled that there is going to be a second season of this show.
Yes,
because
I agree.
I think
I'm always very curious when we have a book to TV show or book to movie because as they always do, there are things that are different. I'm always like, I want to know what your story is. I need to know, and there's definitely some changes. So I'm very curious as to what their story is, what it's going to be.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know that we're going to go into specifics in this video or not. I'm going to assume that if you're watching this, you have seen all of the episodes. So I'm not going to do a spoiler warning at the beginning because I'm not sure exactly what we're going to cover.
Yeah, unless you want to know if you should watch it, which
I think you should. If you like Percy Jackson at all, I think you should.
Yeah. I thought it was Yeah, I think it's lovely.
I think overall, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed it much more than the movies. That's not saying a lot.
I've never seen the movies, so...
Well, that's probably for the best. No, we don't.
I would like to, because I want to know why everyone hates them, now that I've almost read all the books.
That's true. That's a good point. All right, well, maybe you can watch them on your own.
Okay.
But, actually, I don't even think I've ever
Logan Lerman. It's Logan Lerman, isn't it?
It is Logan Lerman and Alexandra Daddario.
Yes.
And
the oldest 12-year-olds on the planet.
Yeah, truly. No, they aged him up, I think.
Okay. Anyways, we don't need to talk about
Anyway, it doesn't matter. But overall, I really liked the season. Actually, I quite enjoyed it. I think there were some stumbles, and I do think, overall, I think they played it quite safe. Just in general. I think you could tell that...
How so?
I don't know. Nothing ever really, seriously gripped me throughout the entirety of the season.
Okay.
There were no, the visuals were good. They were never, unbelievable. The action was okay, but I didn't think there was really, enough. I think they could have done more action sequences, or at least longer ones. I understand that's probably very difficult, especially when your cast is mostly younger.
Teenagers.
And teenagers. But... yeah, I don't know. I just feel like they made some changes, but most of them were kind of just almost cosmetic. And they didn't bear too much on the plot. And I feel like if you're gonna make a change, make it big and make it for a reason, for something you think you can improve. And they did have some decently sized changes that, were, I think, sometimes improvements. They had some other ones that I didn't like as much. But I don't know, overall it just felt like it never reached the crazy highs I feel like it could have. And I think that's a combination of multiple things, but I just feel like they should have been taking some bigger swings with some of the stuff they were trying.
Maybe they will season 2.
I hope that they do.
Because I think this one, like you said, I was actually kind of laughing because I remember our first review, we were so pumped. We were like, the effects were amazing, everything was perfect, we were so excited. I think we were so excited to watch Percy Jackson.
Yes.
And not to say that any of that is untrue, and I feel like your reaction right after seeing something is so valid, and then having another reaction later on happens to me with books all the time where I read it and I'm like, 5 stars! And then a month later I'm like, yeah, it was okay.
It's not even that. It's just. I think
I'm not laughing. Sure, I just think I was remembering how excited we were, and obviously since watching, and I don't think there was any sort of big disappointment at all.
No.
But there was more realisticness. I'm okay, now we're in this. We've settled in. We're being a little bit more.
I just think that instead of something being more than the sum of its parts, it is maybe exactly the sum of its parts, or maybe even less. I think that, or it is exactly the sum of its parts, and some of those parts aren't as great as I wanted them to be. There were a few episodes that I thought were stumbles, specifically the Lotus Casino episode. I thought that was a big stumble. And so I just feel like, when you're doing storytelling in a TV show, what you want is not only do you want the episodes to be great, but when you look at the season as a whole, all of it just comes together in such a way that it's this incredible thing. And I think it was a great adaptation. I really can't wait for season 2. The fact that they hadn't renewed it for a second season earlier is crazy to me.
I was so nervous.
But
I
I'm so happy to hear that it's getting a season 2. I really can't wait to see where they go. I think these young actors are wonderful. I think that they're really kind of the highlight of the show for me, and I really can't wait to see how they grow as human beings, as performers, as well as the characters in the role. I'm very excited to see all of that go forward, and there's a lot of stuff that they did set up that I really like. So I cannot wait for season 2.
I think that's why I'm so excited of And I totally get what you're saying about season 1. And me as the, like, knowing how harsh people are in the world, I was like, yeah, be safe for season 1 so we can get ready for
sure.
season 2 and then, like, really go into it.
I understand that point of view, and, you know, even if, you know, season 2 isn't as, you know, huge and bombastic as I think maybe it should be. I mean, there are some bits in the second book that I'm thinking about right now that I want some really big FX action sequences.
Yeah, please.
I mean, also the entire, like, a lot of it is, and this isn't a spoiler at all, in case you haven't read the books, the second book is called The Sea of Monsters. A lot of it takes place on the water, which is very hard to do.
Yeah.
So
a lot of sea, a lot of monsters.
A lot of sea, a lot of monsters. They go a lot of places, a lot of different sets.
Yeah.
So I am excited. I think that I think it could be awesome.
It's exciting to know that it did well enough that they renewed it, knowing that their next project is probably going to be bigger.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. I agree. I've seen some hate for this online, but I feel like the majority of people really liked it. I feel like the majority of Percy Jackson fans liked it. I hope that that's the case.
I think so too. From what I've seen, I think there are a lot of people like me out there that's just excited to have more media of the things that I love.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty easy to please, I think. Especially when it comes to stuff like that. I'm going in, like, with very low expectations because, like, I'm not in charge. I'm not writing this. I just happen to love this. And books specifically, I think, because you're in your own head, everyone has such specific visualizations and such specific opinions about their experiences with books because it is so individualized.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I always feel like I get a little nervous when things go to a different form of media because people get so upset that their individual experience is not put forth. And so I always try to go in with a, like, I'm just happy this exists. I'm just happy we're in this world. I'm happy to see an interpretation of it. Not trying not to hold an expectation that I have because of my experience with this book. I think that must be such a crazy and tough thing to do as an author, as a writer, as a screenwriter, because the expectations, I think, from written media are so different than anything else.
I absolutely agree. And I think I'm relatively easy to please as well.
Yeah.
But even that being said, I think this is a good adaptation.
Yeah,
I think, like, trying to be as objective as I can be, I think this is a good adaptation. And if you like Percy Jackson, you should be, I can't imagine not being excited.
No, yeah, same. I agree.
And not even talking about it's been renewed for season 2. I mean, like, I can't imagine being someone who's like, wow, I really love the Percy Jackson books, and, you know, just hating this season. I think it was good. I also think so much of it huge, so close to what happened in the book.
Yeah.
I'm like, then what else would you want?
Yeah.
And if you are someone who really didn't like it, let us know why in the comments down below. I'm genuinely curious as to why. That's not a bad thing. Different people like different things.
And there's always, I always notice that when I look at reviews of other people, when I read after I've already read something or seen something, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like, I love that. Love getting the different points of view.
And we also all have, like, different things that bother us. Like, for me, I don't love reading exclamation points in books in characters' own mouths, and that's
women
just
pitted against women and unnecessary jealousy.
And so, like, there's different things that set everyone else off. Mine might be very trivial, but whatever. The one I will say, it's kind of weird to say this after, like, the whole season, but the thing that bothered me, like, not the most, but, like, one of the choices that they made that really did bother me was the fact that they always knew what they were going into.
I agree with you.
I think that was an interesting choice.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, I was like, oh, okay, kind of cool. But then when it kept happening, I was like, it takes so, like, as a viewer, I never get to be surprised now because I know exactly what I'm going into. And I never get to see these characters be surprised.
They're like, hey,
because they're like, it's you. I knew it. And I'm just like, how? I have to imagine it's because in the books there's more page space for them to Rick Riordan to write a paragraph about, like, this is this thing and this is what this Greek myth is, and let me explain it to you. Where that's much harder to do because they would have to, like, have lines and it would just take a long time to do on TV. But I hope that changes in the second season, because it just, by the end of the season, it actually, like, in the beginning I was like, oh, okay, interesting choice, and by the end I was like, I think this is not serving the show. I think this is to the detriment of the show as a whole.
Yeah, I would agree with you. But
I also, it does kind of fall in line with the tone of the show, which I think is one of the other things that I understand. This one I fully understand, but I hope that there are some like minor adjustments to it. And you brought this up a lot in the videos that we talked about, the humor. The books are silly. The books are really silly, and there is, you know, a lot of humor in them, and some of that humor is not for everyone. Like one of my favorite things consistently throughout the books is Percy's insults. Because it is like there, where it is perfectly encapsulated that this is an older man writing what he thinks kids would say to each other as an insult, but also knows he can't curse because it's about middle grade kids. So like, it's great.
Give me one.
Yeah, exactly.
What's one of them?
I just
give me one of his insults.
I don't know off the top of my head. It's just like you know I'm right.
No, I know you.
Like,
I know exactly. I just want to hear.
Yeah. You know, he called someone like lizard breath or something like that. I'm just like, great, awesome, I love it. But, you know, and it doesn't need to be that. It doesn't need to be exactly what it is in the book, but it's just the whole vibe in the book is a little bit lighter.
Yeah,
like
we also are 12.
Yes,
like
exactly.
We are kids.
And so I hope that they can bring that spirit into it a little bit more in some way. I understand why they went in a more serious direction, because they are focusing more on the gods. They are focusing more on Sally, and they were focusing more on her, you know, parenting and raising Percy alone, and, you know, but that being kind of the heart of the season. And I think that did serve the show, but it did mean that there wasn't as much space or time to be
and
lighter.
I also wonder if they are focusing on the assumption that their audience members are at least in their mid-20s. You know, like, because a lot of the people that read these books are our age and a little bit younger. I mean, and I'm sure I know this. These books are still continuing, are also popular. But there is a part of me that wonders if that seriousness was like, okay, what did they watch? They liked this series, but they're now older. How do we make this, you know, more exciting, more palatable, more like intense for this particular audience, while also bringing in kids, but. And also, like, I don't know, kids these days are pretty serious.
Kids are pretty serious.
So,
I mean, I gotta believe that I don't know the demographics of who watched this show, but I gotta believe that this show is being made for kids. The show is being made for kids, regardless of, I think, who is the largest demographic audience. I have to imagine, because there's a large contingent of millennials who definitely are Percy Jackson fans. And, you know, they read these when they were growing up, and now they're in their 20s and 30s, and they, you know, are really still into these books. And I'm sure that there are older generations who have read these books and love them as well. But I gotta, like, the show is still, it's still based on books that are for kids. And so the show, I think, is made for kids.
Yeah, well, I'm saying that, like, I'm wondering if that is the reason for the
to try and be able to interest.
Difference
it could be. I think that they really wanted to. I think that they really wanted to, you know, make the show have a lot of heart. Yeah. And to do that and to get people in episode 1, they were like, Sally's story is
Sally is what I want more of, so.
And, you know, and they also got a bunch of big name, very talented actors to play the older gods, so you should use them. I think that also, you know, on the flip side, is one of the best parts of the show. The performances, and not just by the older actors who are playing the gods or the actress who plays Sally, but also the kids. Like, everyone, I thought, was wonderful, really. I don't think there was, like, really a bad performance out there. I thought it was all great. I think that there is space to let these kids be kids.
I agree, and I hope there is more of that.
Which is also funny, because that's like kind of a theme Percy pushes on another character in the books. It's just like, it's okay to be a kid. Like, yeah, this is all scary and this is very heavy, but it is still okay to be a kid, and it is okay to have fun and like be silly. So I think that, like, tonally, that would be the only thing I would really change. Is I would love it if we could get a little bit more of that.
I agree with you. I completely agree. Yeah.
But I mean, again, I think the performances were all fantastic, and regardless of whether or not they changed the tone, everyone's in the same world, and everyone knows what they're doing, and everyone is doing it very, very well. So I'm very excited to see all of them grow into their roles.
Yeah, excited to have, you know, more Percy Jackson, and hopefully have a new generation of Percy Jackson fans.
Yeah, I hope so too.
And in case
you're wondering.
If you want any, you can't see too much of it, but if you want any Percy Jackson merch, this is from Shop Second Breakfast. There it is. So is my shirt. Mine's Herc, which I felt like was kind of like mythological, you know, same vibes. Yeah. But obviously Camp Half-Blood.
Yeah, we are not sponsored by them.
No, but love them. shop Second Breakfast. They're fabulous.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, I feel like I talked about my problems with this season a lot in this video, and I do want to say I really, really enjoyed the season.
We had fun.
I had a blast. We had a great time. I really had a blast with the season. I think it was wonderful. I think it was really great to like see this world so wonderfully realized and beautifully realized, and to get to see these kids go on such a cool adventure, and to get to see the magic happen like with my eyes. I had a blast.
I agree.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next season.
I'm so excited that it got renewed.
Yeah, I'm really
and I fell in love specifically with, like you said, pretty much everyone. Obviously Sally, you know me and Sally. If you watch any other videos, I'm obsessed with Sally. Sally and Poseidon. But specifically, I love the trio. I love our three besties, and I'm so, like, that when I saw that was renewed, I was like, oh my gosh, good. Okay, I get more of them. I get more of the friendship, because I think they're
great. I think all three of them are wonderful. I'm very excited that...
And they're essentially the backbone of this series, so the fact that that I'm so excited for more of them is probably why it got renewed.
I'm really excited that Grover is going to get a big shot in the next. Grover's going to be a big part of the next one, and I'm very excited for one of the new characters that is going to be introduced in the next one as well.
We love one of our favorite characters.
I'm really excited for season 2. I'm really happy with how season 1 was.
It was a grand old time.
Yeah, I had a blast, and I can't wait to see what they do with season 2. So, what did you think of the season? Did you like it? Did you not? What were your thoughts? What did you think that they can do better, and what do you think was perfect? Let us know down in the comments down below. We'd love to discuss it with you. And if you want to see any of our other videos talking about it, you can find a link to the playlist below. And if you want to see any of our videos talking about the books, because we are almost done with our read-through of the original Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, you can also find a link to that playlist down below or up above here somewhere. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching, and
we'll see you on our next adventure.